Have you ever watched someone cornered in a high-stakes review, entirely backed into a structural dead end, and instead of just like taking the hit, they launch into this 12-minute masterclass on supply chain volatility? Fascinating, fascinating to watch. They're sweating through a cashmere wool blend, talking about Q3 macro headwinds and alignment anomalies, all because someone pointed out a very basic and very obvious typo in the slide deck. So they act as if admitting that a decimal point was out of place is like the legal equivalent of signing over power of attorney to their arch nemesis. We treat apologies in the professional life like it's a lethal gas leak. So the standard playbook is split into two equally exhausting camps, right? Either you get the defensive double down, where someone treats a mild critique of their spreadsheet like a personal insult to their lineage, or you get the pristine, frictionless corporate non-apology, such as, mistakes were made. I regret if anyone felt unsupported by the optics of the timeline. It sounds like it was drafted by a committee of risk management attorneys who sleeps in sensory deprivation tanks. Everyone in the room hears it. They also see it, right? Everyone nods politely. And those in the sophisticated tier of the room immediately marks that personality down as a liability the second things actually get rough. Why? Well, because over-explaining is an involuntary tell. Now, think about how this actually plays out over a Thursday afternoon espresso. You are sitting across from someone senior, we'll call him Dave, because Dave has been wearing this exact same expression of mild disappointment for several presidential administrations. You missed a deadline, right, on a deliverable because you were putting out a fire somewhere else. So, an amateur instinct here is to immediately start narrating their own martyrdom. Well, okay, so you see, on Thursday night, the regional director looped me into this chain, and logistics went sideways, and frankly, I barely slept. Stop right there. You have just given Dave a nice narrative buffet. You've conveyed that your baseline operating state is chaotic panic, and that the moment pressure hits, you require an audience for your emotional labor. Dave doesn't care about your logistics nightmare. Dave only cares about whether the wheel is actually turning. Now, the irony is that people over-explain because they think it preserves their status. They think competence means never having a rough edge. But leverage doesn't come from pretending you're an algorithm that never encounters a bug. That's not human. Actually, it comes from how casually you handle a crash. A sovereign apology, if we even want to dignify it with that word, looks nothing like penance. It's actually pretty light. It's almost aggressively brief, right? It sounds like, yep, that was on my desk. I misread the pacing. We've already patched it. And then you just stop talking. So this is where everyone fails. They deliver that brief line and then the awkward silence hits, right? And their nervous system just betrays them. They feel the urge to fill the vacuum with just one more sentence of context. I mean, obviously, under normal conditions, yada, 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 and then boom, the leverage is gone. You've handed them the shovel. It's like when someone spills red wine on the host's pristine white linen at a dinner party. The amateur immediately launches into this frantic, high-pitched monologue about the vintage, the humidity of the room, and how the glass is poorly balanced. You get the idea, right? Total awkward. Now, the person with actual social calibration, they dab it once with the napkin, say, well, that's unfortunate, and ask the person across from the table about their summer portfolio. The entire incident evaporates because they refuse to treat minor gravity glitches as a moral failing. We spend an unfair amount of cognitive bandwidth, right, trying to construct this impenetrable armor of flawlessness. It is exhausting. And frankly, it is utterly transparent. That is minor league, my friends. Everyone can see the seams. Now, the people who don't need to raise their voices to command it aren't the ones who never misstep. They treat that casual mistake with the casual indifference of someone dropping a pen. They pick it up, they keep moving, and they do not invite the peanut gallery to dissect their character flaws. No. And at the end of the day, nobody remembers the typo on slide 8 anyways, right? But they remember the 14 minutes you spent convincing them that the typo was actually a visionary macroeconomic statement. Now, that brings us to the real mechanics of why the deficit exists in the first place. So we've confused accountability with self-flagellation. In most places, right, when something goes sideways, the ritual expectation is that you just perform a little bit of theatrical grief. You're supposed to look a little chastised, you have to sound apologetic, and signal that your confidence has taken a permanent hit. It's a bizarre corporate psychodrama designed to make insecure managers feel powerful. Now, if you refuse to play that game, if you look at a senior director dead in the eye, acknowledge a catastrophic scheduling error in 4 flat words, and refuse to bleed for them, they don't know what to do with you. They look for the bruises and find polished glass instead. That detachment drives control freaks absolutely insane, which is its own quiet reward. Think about the last time you watched a true principal navigate a screw-up. Not a middle manager trying to survive their quarterly review, but someone who actually holds equity and knows how to control the room. When their team drops the ball, they don't hold a 2-hour postmortem finger-pointing seminar. They absorb the blow, right? They correct the vector privately and never mention it again. They treat discomfort as weather, not a personal insult from the universe. When you stop treating your own error as existential threats, other people stop treating them that way too. You suffocate the drama of its oxygen. So the next time you miss a target, tank a presentation, or send the wrong deck to the board, resist every cellular instinct you have to launch into a defensive TED Talk. Do not workshop your excuses. Don't perform remorse, and for God's sakes, do not narrate your exhaustion. Acknowledge the coordinates, right? Adjust the helm, and let the amateurs keep talking. See you in the next one.